design the screen, so first thing I want to do is I want to put one background screen that I have downloaded and insert it in this driver folder. Okay, so it looks like this. So go to the background properties, and somewhere here, background, I'll select the image. Okay, so it is perfect. Now I want to have one title. First I'll set the constant. Okay, and this one as well, and I'll set the text as your app logo. So this place usually will have your application logo, that's why I'm saying this. And let me set it as 35 sp of font size. Yeah, and I'll change the bias to make it at the top of the screen, and I'll change the color. Okay, so this one looks fine, and I'll also change the font family from here. So click on more fonts. You can actually preview from here. So this one is okay. So this is the app logo part, and I'll also insert one more text view that will display the description. So let me set the constant to this and to our main app logo. Okay, so I'll change the font size to the 20 sp. Maybe that is too big. I'll just change to 18, and your app description here. Okay, I'll also change the font family to something, you know, more appropriate. So maybe this one. Yeah, I'll change the font to the 24 maybe, and let me change the bias, and I'll also change the font color. Okay, so white is fine. Okay, so this is how our splash screen will look like, and I also want one spinner that will show here. To add the spinner, I'll just go to the widgets, and here you can see the progress bar. Okay, so not actually spinner, it is a progress bar, or maybe spinner. Click, I'll just add here and add the constant on the board side. uh, Let me set the constant manually. Okay, right, and down, and here I'll just set the vertical bias to make position this to the appropriate location. Okay, so this is our splash screen design. So the splash screen usually displayed for 1 or 2 seconds, and it will automatically redirect user to the other activity. Okay, so here I'm going to display this splash screen for 2 seconds, and after that I want our application to automatically open other activity. So to do that, inside this splash.java, I'm going to create one handler. Using handler, I'm going to um, halt this display this splash screen for 2 seconds, and after that it will automatically redirect user to the uh, slider activity if he's returning for the first time. But for now, I'm going to redirect user to the slider activity. Okay, So let me implement the handler. It is called as post delayed. Okay, so it will give us option to set the timer. So inside this I'm going to create the runnable. Okay, so let me close this. Here I need to set the time to delay, so that will be 2000 milliseconds. That means 2 seconds, right? So whenever the 2 seconds is passed, or after 2 seconds, I want to execute something inside this run. Okay, so run method. So what I want to do is I want to start new activity with new intent from this current activity. I want to go to slider activity. So slider dot class. I'll just run this app and show you how it looks like. Okay, so you can see our app is running the splash screen, and after 2 seconds it is going to the slider. But you can notice here that we have two APK, okay, APK file generated. So this is due to the, you know, that launcher main category. So inside Android manifest, so here you can see we have two launcher category in the splash activity as well as in slider. Okay, so now I need to remove this from slider because slider is not our launcher activity anymore. Okay, so that's why. Now I'll save it, I'll run it, and now it should remove the one more APK from here, and it should have only one APK. Okay, so application is running. Okay, you can see the splash screen, and it is going to the slider activity. But you may have noticed in this splash screen that it is not full screen. Okay, so to make it full screen, we can copy and paste the same code that I used in the slider. So I'll just copy this from here, copy and paste in the onCreate method before set content. Application is running. Okay, now you can see the status bar is gone, and now you can click on next, and when you click on continue, nothing happens. Okay, so far so good. Now let us implement the continue button, as well as we'll also implement if the user is logging in for first time or he's a returning user. So if he is returning user, then we are not going to display the slider, but if he is a first timer, then we are going to display him the slider. Okay, so first I'll just implement the continue button. Okay, so here I'll just start new activity, new intent from this current activity. So get current application context, we are going to the main activity. Okay, so main activity dot class. So let me run this app and show you. Okay, it is running. Next, continue, and it should go to the main app. Okay, so it is displaying the hello world, which is our main activity. So the continue button is working. Now I want to implement that logic that check the if user is returning user or the first time user. We can check if the user is first timer or returning user by using the flags. Okay, we can basically set a flag that keep the track of if the user is opening the file for the first time or the he is doing it multiple time. Okay, so we can use the shared preferences class here, which will set the flag true true or false when the user open the app for the first time, and by checking the status of this flag we can display the slider, or we can choose to display or not to display the slider to the user. So for that I'll create one class and I'll name it as launcher manager. Okay, so the launcher manager will have a few memory variables. Set mm, mm, shared preferences, and another one is shared preferences editor. Okay, and we also need few static variables. String for the preference name, so it is the name of the shared preferences that we're going to create. Launch manager, I'll just name it as anything. You can name it as anything, okay, it is your preference. And I will also need one more static string variable. Make sure it is small s, and it is the flag that check it is first time or not. Okay, so by using this flag we can figure out if it is the first time or the returning user. Okay, so I'll create one constructor for the launch manager, sorry, launch manager, and it will take the context as the argument. Import the class, and inside this we are going to create the preferences. Okay, so for the first time, so for the current context that is passed through this launch manager, preferences name, what was that, pref, preference name comma mode. Okay, so I'll just pass it as 0, and for editor, share preference dot edit. Okay, so we are initializing our shared preferences and editor. So shared preferences is we are initializing with our preference name and the mode that can be private or public. Okay, so editor we are initializing with the shared preferences dot edit method that will allow this editor to edit the preferences. We can add new value or change the values. Okay, so now I'll create one method that is called when the user open the app for the first time. So, and whenever he opened the app for the first time, we'll set the flag as false. That will indicate that current user who is opening the app is returning user. Okay, so public void set first launch. Okay, and it will take one argument, boolean argument, and we'll set editor dot put boolean is first time flag. We'll change the value of first time to whatever the boolean value is passed. Okay, and we need to save this we need to save this. Okay, whenever we edit something we need to save that. Okay, so we need to save this set preferences value. So to save that we need to use editor.commit. So it will, so whenever user logged open the app for the first time, we'll set the outside preferences boolean value. Okay, we'll also use, we'll also create one more method that will give the current status of the flag. Okay, it is current status of the flag. If it is not modified or it is not false, then user is first timer. If it is false, then user is returning user. Okay, so public, it will be a boolean method. Okay, it will return the boolean value. So each first time we are asking if the user is first timer or not. Okay, and we are going to return the current value of shared preferences, and the default value will be true. Okay, if nothing is set to the shared preferences, we are going to return the true value. If anything is modified using this one, we'll return the modified value. Okay, the launch manager is ready. Now we need to use this in Splash here. Okay, okay, now I'll create the object of this launch manager class. Launch manager, I'll pass the current context. Now here I want to check if launch manager dot is first time. If it is true, if it is true, then I want to start the, if he is the first timer, then I want to start the slider. If he is not, then I want him to go to the main activity. Okay, let me send the user to the main activity by calling the main activity class here. As well, in the, if the user is opening app for the first time, then I also want to set the shared preferences value to the false. So he will be returning user, so will not display the slider to him. So we can do that by using launch manager dot set first launch to the false. So this will do the trick. Now our app should be working as we expected it to work. Okay, the splash screen is shown. Now we are directly going to the main activity because we have already opened this app. Okay, so let me close this app and I'll uninstall the app from the device just to show you how it works or not. Okay, and I'll run it again. Now it should display the slider because I'm opening this app for the first time. Yes, it is displaying. Continue. It is going to the main activity. Now if I close this app and open it again, it should directly go to the main activity. Yes, it is exactly working as we wanted it to work, but you can see here the toolbar is missing in the main activity, which is not that important, but I'll just quickly show you how to get that toolbar back. The main activity, go to the main activity. Where is that? Here. Okay, I'll just change this to your main app. I'll change text size to 15 sp. Okay, now I'll create the toolbar. Make sure it is version 7 widget toolbar, and here I'll just select the action bar size, ID, should be toolbar. Okay, it is still showing the error because I need to set the constant as well as the background color. So background color primary. Okay, now I'll set the constant for this action bar size, and I'll also set the pop-up theme to the dark action bar. Okay, it won't work right now because I have not set the toolbar here. So let me create the toolbar variable. It is version 7 toolbar. Now I'll set the set support action bar, set support action bar to the toolbar. Toolbar, find view ID, r.id, the toolbar. Okay, so let me run now. It should work as expected. Let's see. Okay, it is working, but the title is in black color, so I'll just change the theme in activity main instead of this. So if we set the entered theme to the theme overlay.app compare.dark, it should display the title text as white. So let me run the app and show you. Okay, so it is showing the welcome app. Okay, it is in white. So yeah, this is how we implement the splash screen and welcome slider. So I hope you learned something today, and I hope you enjoy this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. It will really motivate me to create more videos in the future. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.